Do you consider yourself intuitive? Or do you use your intuition day to day in your life to help guide you? If you do, or even if it's something that you'd like to bring more into your life, then this video is for you. I'm going to be sharing about intuition, what is it, and how we can develop more of our intuition in our lives. And why is working with your intuition something that can be helpful? So, what is intuition? We are all intuitive. We all have the ability to perceive with our intuitive senses. And so, what we're talking about here is perceiving more of our reality. We are more than just our physical bodies. We have an energy structure. There's a lot going on that we may not be consciously aware of. And when we work with our intuition, we're opening up that ability to perceive a greater scope of what's already going on around us. And so we can be more aware and more informed when we make decisions in our lives, when we are working with our intuition. It's more of our sensory perception of reality, of our lives online. So we can have more information to work with. And that can help us navigate life from that bigger picture view. And so this is a really great tool to develop or skill that we can develop. And when I hear from people who want to open their intuition more, oftentimes there's some experience of intuition, but feeling maybe we dismiss ourselves, or we don't trust ourselves, or not having confidence in our intuition. And so the good news is you are already intuitive. And so it's just a matter of building that relationship with yourself and your intuition to be able to perceive more. And so there are a couple things that are really helpful for this. One is to develop those senses, and so that's something that you can open up more through simple exercises. There are exercises that you can do to strengthen your intuitive senses. One tool that's really helpful with that is meditation. So if you already have a meditation practice, that's great. And if not, that's something you can start working with to help open up your intuition. And then there are other exercises that you can do to build those intuitive senses as well. And with practice, with dedicated, consistent practice, it's like building a muscle. Just like you go to the gym to build your physical muscles, you can exercise and open your intuitive muscles as well. So that's an important piece, is actually putting in the time and consistent effort to strengthen your intuitive abilities. The second piece that's really important is to begin to trust yourself. And what can be helpful with this is coming to know yourself more and how you perceive, and then just paying attention to that little voice or that sensation, or however you're perceiving, to be more aware of it. Because oftentimes, if it doesn't make sense, if it's not logical, we dismiss it and we're told, oh, that's not real. And so sometimes it's getting over our own judgment of ourselves to start to just be open to perceive and say, oh, what is this? And the more that you listen and are open to that connection to your own intuitive senses, it strengthens. And you begin to know more how you perceive. What does that look like? What does that feel like? What is that experience like for you? And the more that you become to know yourself in that way, you can be more aware and begin to trust yourself. And sometimes it's just being open to receive an insight in an intuitive way and see, okay, what if this is true? And just be open and go with it and see. And maybe it's on point, maybe it's not, but that's just how we start to divert our exploration of how we perceive in our senses. And the more that you work with it, the more that you can get confident in yourself. And so that's two things: the developing your intuition through exercises to strengthen that muscle, and then to really start to work with it and explore it to build that relationship with yourself and how you perceive. And so often it starts with letting go of any expectations of how it should look. It may look different from person to person. So if you see one person working with their intuition in one way, that may not be the way that it works for you. And it can be helpful to just let go of any expectations of what it should look like and just start working with it. And the more that you work with your intuition, then you can start to build that relationship with yourself in that way and discover this aspect of yourself that can really serve you in life. Because, like I said, when we are going through life, we want to be aware of what's going on around us. And if we aren't working with our intuition, we're only seeing a narrow piece. And when we have our intuition sharpened and honed, then we can start to perceive more and be more aware of what's going on within us, what's going on around us, and we can respond to things in our lives from that more aware place. And so that's really helpful in order to really be aware of what's happening, to have that information and to be able to respond to situations rather than just feeling that lack of clarity or just going through life blind. We want to be able to see what's going on around us and to be able to respond to life from that place.